Ooh. Hi, Tyler.
Hello. Oh no, I got.
Okay, now this is unmuted. Okay.
And then should I lower this volume? Is that how it works? So it doesn't go?
You want to mute that computer, and then you're good.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, do that now. Yay. Okay, people are counting. Good job. Yay.
Okay, so this one's unmuted.
Oh,
and
this
then
one can't see me.
do we have the
Hey,
volume?
Kyle. What's up?
Is there volume on this one? Yes, there is.
We'll get started in a minute. Thanks for coming, Tyler. Whee. Julia plays soccer too. She's really good. She's the goalie for our West team.
Yeah, I like your sweatshirt.
Killing it.
Who's Kyle?
Kyle's, he's a sophomore. I'm trying to steal him from FRC. Wow, Coach Scott's giving you guys a tour.
Kyle Chi.
It's your favorite Tiki.
Is that Tiki?
Kyle.
Tiki!
Maybe we have one more. Well, do you guys want to get started?
There's one in the chat.
What?
If you
Something's
want to
in
in
the
the
chat?
chat, you can just click on it, and then if it doesn't open up, I find clicking the security button does make it pop up like you're speaking, right? Or you can monitor the chat through one of the other computers, which will also work.
Okay, you guys want to get started? We're everywhere.
Okay, first of all, you don't need to hold my camera. My camera
Is there anyone else that you guys are missing?
Yeah, my camera is doing like this.
Is there anyone else that we're missing?
What?
Like a person you want here?
Like someone standing here? We just all stand with me.
Can everyone hear us good?
Give a thumbs up in the chat.
Perfect. Thanks, Tyler. Okay.
Maybe a little louder.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Julia.
Okay, so we are Trobotix 8696. So what does our season typically look like? So, well, first of all, FTC stands for First Tech Challenge. But so our season, we usually start with a kickoff in early September when they release the video for our challenge that year. And then we begin to prepare and have leagues and meets from October to January. And then we go into different tournaments, the qualifiers and the super qualifiers. And these are elimination tournaments. So basically you have to win an award or score high enough to move on. But those okay. Anyways, those typically go through January and February. And then if you make it all the way to Worlds, that's in late April.
So we're gonna play a quick intro to the First Tech Challenge, so you guys just know what the program is a little bit about.
Is this computer on?
If you go to share screen, you can share your audio.
Wait, hold on. Oh, shoot. Oh no. You do it, you do it.
Okay. Right here.
Yeah, and then double
And
click the
then
full screen.
this guy.
And then press the play and stuff.
Perfect.
First Tech Challenge challenges kids ages 12 to 18 to program, design, build, and compete with robots.
Once you get the challenge, you figure out your game plan.
You build a robot so that you can complete many challenges.
Teams use a reusable kit to program robots in a variety of coding languages.
Every year you also learn more and more about coding, so then your code's gonna get better and better.
Personally, I do not learn hearing about it, but hands-on is just go into it. Instead of saying, oh, I know how to build this robot, I can say, I built this robot.
In First Tech Challenge, students are developing a broad range of skills.
Manufacturing, hardware, troubleshooting, but there's also a lot of things that you learn that you wouldn't necessarily think about. People skills.
Problem-solving skills, helping one another, helping other teams.
The program draws so many students that come in who just want to do the marketing, who just want to do fundraising.
You need to do fundraising because you need to buy kits and parts and everything you need for the year.
And that's a great thing that the kids learn very early on.
The model of FIRST has provided incredible opportunities for the students to interact with professionals.
Whenever I asked my mentors a question, they always flipped the question around and asked, where would you find the answer to that question if I weren't here? They slowly built my confidence up so much more to a point where we weren't asking them questions, we were just going.
Each team has to compete at a local event, win awards at the local event, and then they're able to move on to the first championship.
You walk into the room and there's that smell. The smell of robots.
There's different languages, different culture. It's just the best thing ever.
I think it's incredibly important for youth to see careers in science and engineering as a possibility for them.
High school participants have access to over $80 million in scholarships from colleges, universities, and technical programs. First Tech Challenge is one of 4 engaging FIRST programs.
First in one word, wow.
Fun!
First is inspiration.
First is amazing.
First is hope.
Okay, so that's a little introduction to the first program. And then, oh shoot, how did I get out of here? It's the loudest over here.
Wait, speaker.
I think. Will that mess with the Zoom?
I can, yeah, so it's.
Like you mean like a video a little bit louder? I don't know. I guess we'd have to switch our audio output. Do we want to do that real quick or no?
I don't think we have any other videos that need people talking.
You guys have over here have hard time hearing the video? Okay. All right. As long as it's okay.
Okay, and then like Julia said, by the end of the season, there's really like competitive rounds, and this is one of the world's finals. So these are really, really good robots going at each other from
1, go!
All right, and just as a point of reference, BrainStem was the winner last year.
Yes.
This year, they've been a finalist at every single competition. They have not made their win yet. This may be the time they make their debut.
This is all autonomous. Wonderful job. Gluten-free is scoring particles. They're trying to score particles into that lander. Looks like nice job. 2 silver in autonomous mode.
Looks like both of the Trobotix robots have successfully hit their gold mineral off of their slots, both placing their team markers into the back depot as well.
Blue Lines also has both team markers inside the depot, and both gold minerals on the blue lines have been successfully sampled.
3, 2, 1. All right, and as we make our way into the teleoperated mode, looks like both robots, 8393, and their alliance partners are on either side of the craters, trying to work as fast as they can, getting in the way of the blue lines, placing defense.
Excellent. And it seems like the least the robots have to move, the more they can stay in one spot, the faster their cycle time is going to be. That's what Gluten-Free has been specializing in this year. You can see they hardly have to drive. They just reach in the crater, grab, and then dump it into the lander.
And it seems like a common theme throughout these robots. They all have very stationary. They have 2 arms, one that goes into the crater, and then a separate one that'll go into that center landing.
Absolutely. And Landros are not being slowed down at all by not having a strategy, but they are quickly maneuvering their mechanism wheels, giving them all the maneuverability they need to quickly go between that far away crater and the gold side of their lander.
Yeah, Mechanical Paradox Cube is in the back of the field. They look like they're trying to play some defense on Gluten Free. Gluten Free has been known as being a big scoring robot, so that might be a smart strategy.
Excellent, nice. 2 more for Gluten Free, getting 2 more silver into the lander. These craters are getting emptied out pretty far. Gluten Free is having to reach farther and farther into that crater to get more minerals.
All right, Brainstem's also working on the front. I mean, these craters are looking barren. There's not many more particles that they're able to score.
I can see some gold sticking out the top of that far side lander, meaning that Gluten Free and Landros have a ton of gold into that lander.
All right, 30 seconds. We are making our way into the end game, which means these robots are going to try to put in their last few scores and then try to make their way up, taking flight.
That's right. They cannot start climbing the lander until endgame has begun. Hopefully we can get all 4 robots on this lander so it can take off before the end of this match. Landros are off the ground.
All right, Brainstem looks like they're following right behind. They're off the ground as well.
And Gluten Free is off the ground. That is both blue lines.
Mechanical Paradox with 2, 1.
All right, this is going to be pretty close.
Okay, so as you guys can see, those were some really high scoring and advanced robots. Sorry we didn't really explain how it works before, but the first period of the match is called autonomous, and that's where the driver does not have control of the robot, and the robot's just doing what it was programmed to do, and it just has to work on its own. And then you might have heard a buzzer, and that's when the drivers can pick up their remotes, and then that's when they can tell the robot where to go, and the driver's in control. And then there's finally an end period where you saw how the robots had to hang up. There's hang up on the structure in the middle. So usually there's a bigger challenge that has to be done in the end period. So that's kind of how the game works. But every year the challenges just completely change. Okay, so how do we get to that point? It's a pretty long process, but first for building the robot, I guess once the challenge comes out in the fall, we usually have a session where everyone gets together and we all brainstorm and come up with a bunch of different mechanisms that could potentially work and just different designs of our robot. And as you can see at the bottom right corner, there's just some drawings, and no idea is a bad idea at that point. You just put all of your thoughts or whatever's going through your head together. And then after that, we take it to something called CAD. So that's where you can design your robot on your computer, and we specifically use Onshape, which is a pretty cool place to do that. So on CAD, we kind of just put parts together and see what we think and put together what we think will work. And then from there, we start to put the robot together. Using our CAD designs, we kind of go off of there and we get all of our parts that are scattered everywhere, and we start to put them together to build a robot. And we keep doing the engineering design process, which is we build it, we test it. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to our prototyping and design, and we just keep doing that cycle over and over again until we get the robot that we want to use. And it's just a never-ending learning cycle for us. Yeah, I guess we could go to programming next.
Okay, so for programming, we have some ways of organizing our tasks. One thing we use is our team Google Drive, where it's a Google Drive folder for each season, and then that's where we compile all of our online documents and stuff. Oh wait, yeah.
So we can hear you better.
Forgot the mic is over here. So we use the Drive for some of our stuff. The main thing we use is something called Trello, which is this online task management thing. There's little cards. And then there's also boards where you can categorize each cards, and you can move the cards around. So what we do is we make each card a task. The cards can have checklists, and you can put links to resources. And when you're done, you can check everything off, and then you can move it to the category of oh, this is complete. We don't have to work on it. We can also assign people to cards, so we can keep track of who's doing what. That's pretty important for programming, because if 2 people code the same thing, that's just a waste of time, waste of energy. We also use something called GitHub. It's very popular version control management system online. So what we do is we have a project where we have all our code, and then we split it into different branches. The branches, they all have pretty much the exact same code, but if like I modify things on my branch, it won't change anything on other people's branches. So that way, like, you know, you can mess around with your own code without creating issues with other people. And then when we finalize the code, when we like run tests, we're like, oh yeah, this code works. Then we can push it to something called the master branch. That's where we put all our final code, and we use that for the competition. So GitHub is something we use to make sure like we're not coding over other people's stuff, and we're also just keeping our own changes separate. So the programming language we use for programming is called Java. We use Java. That's pretty much what we use. What we use to code is we use Android Studio. I don't know why it says Visual Studio Code. That's something different. We use Android Studio, and the reason being that is because our phones they use Android operating system. So the thing about Android Studio is that it has built-in features that can directly push code to an app on the phones. So you're thinking like, why do we need phones? Well, phones is how we use to control the robot. So we have two phones. One phone is a driver's station phone. That's what we call it. The other one is called robot controller. You can see that's what the phones look like. They're charging on the table. The robot controller phone, we plug it into the robot. And then the driver station, we plug into like a video game controller. We use Logitech. And what happens is the two phones, they set up like a wireless connection. So it's basically like our own like walkie-talkie like radio kind of system. So we push code to the robot controller. The robot has all our code. And then we go into the driver station phone. We set up the controller, and then we can start controlling parts, and we can like run or stop programs like that. So that's why we use Android Studio. We use Android Studio to code programs in Java. We push the code to the robot, and then we set up the phone so they can communicate with each other, and we can start running the robot. One of our members, Omkar, he's not here today. He does something with like a scouting app. I think he uses JavaScript for that as well as Node.js. So the scouting app is basically like an app we kind of made that helps us scout, like, you know, just like drop menus and buttons instead of like before we would just like write everything down. But this time we can just compile into the app. He can like print out all our data. He can run simulations. And so we can detect like who's the best choice for our partners, for alliances. Whether you're like new to programming or very experienced with Java, you're both welcome. If you're new, we're always more than happy to teach you how to code in Java. A lot of the code isn't hard because you don't actually need to like know Java in depth. You just need like a basic knowledge, because a lot of the code we use is like custom functions from the FTC repository. So really a lot of like the code we use is like, if you speak it in English, it makes sense. Like, for example, like you just say robot.drive, that drives the robot a certain distance forward. So, and if you're really experienced, we'll also be able to teach you like what the custom variables and custom methods there are in the FTC like code library. So yeah, that's basically programming.
Okay, so aside from programming, build, the next most important part of robotics is the notebook, which includes a lot of different things. So for winning awards and competitions, you are required to submit a notebook of sorts. And this notebook is basically what documents your entire season. Yeah, so it's like the logistical side of robotics. And if you're not interested in the mechanical side, then this might be just for you. So what it involves is the logistical side of robotics. What it involves is outreach. Outreach is like promoting your team and promoting robotics in the community. Past events that we have about outreach are going to elementary schools and showing kids basics of engineering, like aerodynamics with paper airplanes, or building marshmallow towers. We've been to the Fall Fun Fest and we promote our club there. That also counts as outreach. Other teams like Winter Soldiers, they might go to India and promote robotics there, or run local marathons. You could do that too. The thicker side is documentation. That would be just documenting our day-to-day meetings. That would involve writing down what you did for each meeting, taking pictures, having other members write daily entries. And that's just like making sure you're being thorough about documentation, just documenting what is going on with the robot too. That is Documenting what is going on with the robot, most importantly, is what wins you the more important awards like Think Award, Design Award, that kind of stuff. And then other stuff that aren't so notebook intensive are social media and fundraising. Those would be, because our team, how much money do we need each year? Several thousand. So you would be involved with advertising to businesses and also advertising online on Instagram. Graphic design would involve making ads, just like the logo, that little standard logo we kind of have right now. Strategy.
I guess strategy team, we kind of just put that together, but that's just a group of people who know like the game and the rules really well, so they can help our team strategize like during the game what we want to accomplish first, what order we do things in, and which teams we want to scout. I guess we never really explained the scouting to you guys that well. Sorry about that, but in a regular season, of course, the season was just messed up because of COVID. But in a regular season, we get to play the game with an alliance, which means we get to choose another team to play with. So then there'll be like a blue alliance versus a red. So that's why you saw 4 robots on that challenge. So you would scout your team out. When it gets to at the beginning, you're given your partner, but when it gets to like the really competitive rounds, that's when you get to choose your partner. So that's like the scouting aspect of it.
Yeah, and also involved that with competitions. Business side, you would be helping with scouting. You would also help set up the pit display, and that's just like every team has their own little area where you set up your robot, and you could help with decorating that too.
So I guess with like outreach, we just want to say like if you're really just do not want to do any of like the tech stuff, there's just a lot of stuff you can get involved in. If you like photography, you can take pictures. And if you just like talking to people, you could do scouting to talk with the other teams. If you're really like artistically involved, you can do the like designing and stuff. So there's just a bunch of things you could get involved with, and you could do both things. You could be a part of the build team and outreach. So yeah, do you want to play the promote video?
Oh yeah. So, and like, if you're interested in video editing and shooting videos, you can help with our one award, which is the promote award, and that's where you basically shoot a video based on a theme. This is our last year. We won an award for it. We won the promote award for it, and Ellie shot and recorded and did everything for it.
Play.
First has changed me by
gracious professionalism and how to be cooperative, considerate, and respectful in a competitive environment.
Really showed me that I want to pursue a career in programming, especially like in the STEM field.
I'm more confident now. I've made so many new friends. I had so many great experiences.
Really giving me like a really good perspective of like what professional engineers can do.
Come up with creative ideas to issues that I have, even outside of robotics.
Problem solve and overcome obstacles. Without FIRST, I really wouldn't have that much exposure to STEM.
Through FIRST, I was able to do a lot of outreach with elementary school children.
I've been able to get more experience in the STEM field and especially in engineering, which I never really considered before.
I'd just like to thank FIRST for all the amazing opportunities and the great people I've met through it.
Okay, I guess that's kind of like a cheesy video, but that's just, that was our team previous year. So at competitions, there's a bunch of awards you can get. So that's one of the things we submitted. And I guess we forgot to do introductions, which I feel bad about, but my name is Krisha.
Wait, you want to go in front of the camera?
Oh, sorry. My name is Krisha. I joined Trobotix my freshman year, and I've been a part of FIRST since 6th grade. I was part of an FLL team with Tyler, who's on the Zoom right now. And so that's how I got involved in FIRST. And then this past year, I was really involved in the build team, but I also help with outreach and stuff.
So hi, my name is Julia. I joined last year, which was my junior year. And I've mainly been helping out with like outreach, some building and CADing online, and a lot of like documentation and that sort of thing.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm a senior. I joined in my sophomore year, and I've been mostly helping out with putting the notebook together every year. Yeah, I'm just focused on the logistical side of robotics.
I'm Tiki. I'm a senior. I joined my junior year, and I mainly help out with programming and a little bit of strategy.
And then these are our coaches. Sure. Here. We can go here. It's good. Coach Scott, you take the lead.
So I'm Coach Scott. I'm an engineer at Collins Aerospace. Let's see, what else? I've been involved in FIRST for about 4 years as a volunteer at events and as a coach for about 2 years. I have a electrical engineer degree from the University of Iowa and worked on some interesting things in my career. I've worked on fiber optic gyroscopes. Excuse me, my mask is slipping. Fiber optic gyroscopes for space platforms and software-defined radios for the military and also flight management systems for commercial aircraft. One of our jobs as coaches really is to help you guys learn, but it's not to tell you what to do so much. We may suggest things you need to do, but really the team is the driving force for everything that gets done on the team. Would you guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else is important to know. So this is a really important program to me because this is kind of like a small business. Think of it as a startup company. There's a lot of aspects to starting up a company. It's not just the technical side of things when you think like a tech company, like programming and building things, but it's also the marketing, the raising of funds, and really promoting your product. And it's also learning to work as a team. And that's probably the biggest thing that you'll learn from this experience.
Totally agree. I'm just gonna trade in here real quick and introduce myself. You saw me before when I was setting up the computer and everything, and I waved hi. But I'm Coach Zemer. I'm new this year. I'm learning a ton from our current team members and Coach Scott, but it's been really cool to be part of FIRST. I'm a biology teacher at West High School. I also teach Earth and Space Science. It's a lot of fun. Love working at West, love working with students, and I think one of the things that I'm really enjoying so much about robotics so far is just how it inspires students to take initiative and to problem solve and to get all of these awesome communication skills and practice professionalism. Like we try to always include those things in the classroom at West, especially. And like we try to do it, but it's hard to do because we have a lot of stuff to learn in class and everything. And I just think FIRST is such a good opportunity for students to just have tons of firsthand experience with really acting like a professional and learning what that's like. So that's the big thing that I think has stood out to me this year because you guys rock. So it's just been great.
I think we can take any questions now and then we can do a little tour of the lab. You guys have any? Or if anyone on Zoom has questions.
How much work does it be? How often does it meet? And what is doing? How, like when and how?
Yeah, so during the off season, which is now, we meet about once a week, which and probably like 2 hours per meeting. So the off season is like from I'd say March until like the end of year and like through the summer. And then during the season, we meet twice a week and about 2 hours per day. But I'd say as a team, we're working on our commitment increasing because we're all really involved in other sports, but we're pretty like flexible with team members and we want everyone to just get involved as much as possible. And then to join in the future, I think we'd want to get everyone like working this summer and just like learning things because we have a really big senior class leaving. So to join, we'd probably just send out like a Google form in the upcoming week for you guys to fill out. And then from there, we can start organizing a meeting where you can come to, and then where you can start learning from everyone.
That's an awesome question.
Yes.
So one thing I will add to that is that you don't necessarily have to come to all the meetings, and you can contribute even if you don't have time to come to the meetings or you have other commitments. So there's things you can do outside of the lab time here to contribute to the team.
Yeah, especially if you're in like outreach and programming, I feel like that works pretty well. And I mean, even build, because you have to count stuff. So yeah, that's a big part of it.
What day of the week do you guys meet?
That gets decided every year, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, like, what if, like, would also, we started doing, would we start in a week or two, or would we start once school ends?
Oh.
Like, throughout a day of the week then?
Yeah, so we want to utilize our seniors as much as possible. So you guys will probably join in the upcoming weeks and over the summer. Currently we meet on Wednesdays, but like our coaches said, we like send out a form for when people are available to meet because we're a pretty small group right now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little bit of downtime around AP tests.
Yeah.
Those are coming up and a lot of our students are taking those. But then after that, I think we'd be eager to have, new members pop in and start helping us plan for the next year and talk to the seniors and get all of that going before the summer.
And that includes any 8th graders who are on the Zoom too right now.
Definitely,
Yes.
we want you to come too.
So you mentioned one resource for programming. If you're interested in building, what can you do over the summer to prepare and start learning more about your process?
So over the last summer, we did like a mock season where we took out a challenge and we built a robot for that just so we could like learn the process a little bit. So over this summer, we're probably just going to continue to like build our robot for the challenge that was given to us this year. And we can experiment with the robot and also with CAD. Coach Scott put together really good like boot camp from home that you can do to learn more about CAD and how to use that software. So there's just a lot of ways you can get started and you can just choose whatever you're most interested in.
Are there meeting over the summer in the school or outside?
I think that'll probably be a mix. I think we'll be able to have access to come into the school because it's not, we're getting vaccinated now, so it's safer to do that. But yeah, we should be able to have kind of a mix of ability, and also like maybe meeting at like parks or things like that to kind of talk and strategize that way because it's
A thing on vaccines, I heard there's gonna be a vaccine clinic on this Friday at West High. For anyone who's old enough, the FDA is thinking of dropping its age down to 12 so more people can go and get it. So for anyone who wants to go to West High on Friday, I'm pretty sure there's a vaccine clinic for COVID.
nice.
Yeah, you know if we want another one from 3 to 4 weeks, depending on which vaccine figure me out.
Nice.
Do you want to show the online people how to get in here? Like, do you always contact the librarian or?
Oh yeah. Did you have your phone? Yeah. We were gonna do a walk through everything. So we'll have online people learn how to come on in with the camera, and then we'll get started with the tour. So did everyone find the entrance that's upstairs? To
Yeah,
come into the lab?
I used.
No? Okay. You guys wanna come? Yeah, it's the one that's on the other side. It's not the printer door, it's the other one. If you didn't see it, come with us. We're just gonna look at that really quickly and then come in. Since we're already going up there.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to get into the lab. If you guys, if you have to go somewhere and you don't want to tour of the lab, feel free to leave. But right now we're gonna show people how to get to the lab when you guys get to join. Should we make Coach Scott?
Are we gonna do a tour afterwards though?
If we want to, should we?
We are
Oh, there. Okay, they
on the
needed.
top floor of West High School. There is a couple entrances to the library here. So a lot of people know the entrance to the printer room over there. They've come and picked stuff up for teachers before. But yeah, this is on the same hallway that Mr. Nugel's room is, which I think some 9th graders have classes with Mr. Nugel. And then there's
Or Mr. Ankerman, that's the person for AP Human Geography.
Yeah, yep. So same hallway. So And it's just right here. So 220 is where you want to go in. And I know some people haven't had tons of experience being at West High School if they're virtual. So yeah, so now you know how it is. And I unlock it once I come up. And before that, you can enter through the library.
Oh, you want to see the staircase?
So, oh, well, they'll get all of the like soft things back, but right now, they don't like posters on the thing on the HK off the dropping off the stairs. Oh, the posters? Yeah, I don't know. I think they did like some renovating over the summer. Like, yeah. So here is our lab. We put lots of Trobotix swag so that you know exactly where it is. We like to make sure everyone knows who we are at West High.
So do I do it from Coach Scott's phone? I'm for.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys want to lead the tour of the lab? Show us what we got.
Okay. Hi guys. Okay, so when you walk through the door, this is our field. Usually it's about like double the size of this, but this is our field this year because of COVID. Because like I said, there's only one team going on the floor. So this is our robot right now. His name's Pascal. We usually name our robot every year, but this is Pascal, and then this is our like field setup. Those were like our two goals this year that we had to get rinked into, and then these are some wobbles that we use. Okay, so if you look over here, we just have a bunch of tables set up, and these are just for like working on the robot, on programming.
I have a lot of
over here. This is where all of our materials are. It's pretty packed. We just have a bunch of pieces for our robot here and just scattered around the whole lab. So yeah. If you want to in here.
Don't forget about snacks.
Oh yeah. Snacks are a really important part of our team. So every meeting we're usually loaded on snacks. So
Especially chips and fruit snacks.
yeah, if that's your motive to join, feel free to come for some snacks. And then here's just a bunch of tools, like I said. We have our Christmas tree. It's just a tradition that we have. So our Christmas tree just stays up. And then here's just like a cart that we used to build. And we have a bunch of like screws and everything on here. But yeah, I think that's like the main components of our lab.
How do you contact join?
We will send out an email with a form to you guys. Yeah.
Do I need to sign my email down so you guys know?
We can find it. We're good.
Am I allowed to take some?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
Oh, sorry.
Is there anything else you guys want to add to the people?
You guys should join because we're awesome. We need successors.
Okay, thank you guys so
Oh
much.
yeah, somebody gonna drive the robot?
Oh, okay, what are those blue things?
Okay, don't leave yet.
If you want to drive the robot, you can. And we understand if you have to.
I can probably say like this couple ones.
Is it going to take too long to do this?
I don't think so.
Like 5 minutes max. 5 minutes? I already told my mom 4 times.
You don't have to stay for long. If you want to stay more than an hour.
We can send you guys a video.
Well, like, Gemma, make sure that we send you. Because I know you're waiting for your ride. side, or your right's waiting for you.
What is that? I need to know what those things are.
So-
I'm sorry. I think I've seen them before. I'm just so curious.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what they are?
Yeah, so this year for our child.
You can go do it, or
One of the assets is to build around, just around the field and like help them here and then on those lines. And then also you can get some rings on it like this with the robot. And then the last challenge was to pick it up and put it over. There's always just a bunch of game elements. So this one.
Are those like spinny tops? Can they actually spin? Oh, probably.
Yeah.
They're nice because if you
Also take
happen to bump them over,
Oh yeah.
they can recover, which is nice. Makes it just a little easier to do the challenges. Yeah, very cool. So we call them the wobbles. If you want to know the specific name of that.
That's a very scientific name.
Obviously, yeah. An engineer's name in the fiber.
horrible.
No, I'm kind of accurate for that.
Oh,
You okay?
yeah.
We just went through things. I don't think you have any other questions.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we will.
We'll show you.
Right, we got you. Thanks, Jen.
Wait, how, if I'm going, like, if I end up not liking it, would I be able to like join? Yeah.
The controllers, they're usually be, yeah. Do you need the other set? Okay. TJ, I feel like you were hoping we weren't gonna get to this.
Huh?
I feel like you were hoping we weren't gonna get to this.
No, I thought we started at 5:30 instead of 3:30. So I just
Whoa.
Where did he get the idea? Oh. Is this charged? So here's Tiki. He's attaching the battery and the phone to the robot. And remember, this phone will connect to the phone that he's about to use with the controller.
It's like a regular Android phone. Yeah, there's an app on the Android phone. We only use these phones for robotics. Like it's not someone for. Yeah, go ahead and you can get it right over there.
And there's where you connect it so it doesn't fall.
Oh yeah,
Or you can save money.
there's some Velcro on there.
Velcro,
Maybe not the strongest thing to hold it together, but it works.
Yeah, well knows what's actually holding it. Our robot sounds like R2D2 because it's adorable, and that's just how we roll.
Mhm. And Star Wars is also a sponsor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
Looks like it's working.
That's okay, you can just do the obstacle course. There it is.
Oh, that's what. Oh. Oh, it uses a ton of battery power, which is why we just didn't use battery.
Did you see that? Like the brown arm part, that was something we had to CAD first, and then we were able to take some material and cut it out.
Alright, good. How big are these skis?
So this one makes it go forward and backwards. This one makes it turn.
No,
So this one goes forward and backwards. This goes left and right. B is closed, or yeah, it's closed arm. Yeah, just like that button. So A opens up the arm, closes the arm. And Y closes the circle. They don't really do. Bumpers, they like change the speed, so like you can make it faster. Good. Try running on autonomous.
That's cool to see.
It's like that's the first 30 seconds where you can't touch the controller. Yeah. Probably won't work.
Okay, so that was Mishka just driving the rope around. Hopefully all of you on Zoom can come drive it soon. But now if you want to stay and watch, Tiki's gonna run the autonomous. So if you remember, that's the period where Tiki's not driving the robot and it's just
choose a random letter, A, B, or C. C, that's 4 rings. 0 rings.
4.
So the number of rings there determines determines where the robot goes. So if there's no rings, zone A. If there's 1 ring, it goes to zone B. 4 rings, it goes to zone C. So hopefully what autonomous does is it scans the rings and says, okay, there's 4. We have to drop the wobble here, and then it parks on the red flag. Probably not to work, but we can try.
I think you had a love-hate relationship with the autonomous this year.
It would work fine until we had to run an official match.
These 4 rings, just driving and go.
then I'll take it to you. And then it parks on the middle line. Woo!
Yay! It worked.
Yeah, it works when we're not running an official match.
Yeah.
This, right?
Yeah.
And like it senses those.
So then once tally up starts, you start throwing rings. And part of the game is you get to pick up the rings and throw it into the goal when it's not broken. But we don't have a ring grabbing or throwing mechanism, so we don't really get it.
And it had sensors that were like picking up for those. Like, right.
Not the rings you throw. That's only for the rings.
Pascal robot.
This thing, I think. Oh, penguin.
Okay, did
It's also a programming
anyone
language.
have any like final questions that we could answer?
I'll turn it on.
That's the other bonus is that you have built-in paparazzi. Because
You guys can drop. You guys can drop any questions in the chat if you haven't, but if you don't, we'll shoot everyone an email. And if you're interested, you could fill out that form or reach out to one of us personally. You could probably find Coach Zemer's email pretty easily. And then if you don't, you just text me or something. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you.
Yay.
Bye, Matthew. Bye, Kyle. Thanks for coming. Okay, here, leave that on. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I was like,
That kind of sad.